be there's a higher power, whatever name you call it. So what happens is, you know, if you just think about it, if God wanted everybody to believe a certain way, he could have made everybody. He could have made us all the same color. So to me, my intelligent mind tells me that he all wants us to be different. And he all have us finding our own way. And see, that's what people fail to think about. You know, and I think that if he allowed all of us to follow our own way, God has enough room, even when you think about heaven. To me, this is just my personal opinion. You know, he can have Jews, he can have good Muslims, good Jews, good Christians, and there's good people in general. So for us to put a monopoly on it and say, if you are not believing this way,
then you kicked out of this place.
Then that's when you start getting into that judgmental, and then you can't get along. You know, I believe like this, bro. In my mind, God want man in general to come together and on common terms, you know what I mean? And to
see each other.
Things, no matter what.
See each other.
Right. Yes. Right. Unity, and that's unity. And it's going back to what Vincent is saying. All we got to do is look at nature. We don't even got to run to these books all the time. Look at nature. No. Everything is in unity. They say the heavens and the earth is unified.
Humans?
So we learn from that. You feel me?
Humans who do not start thinking for themselves and throw off doctrine and dogma. I'm reading this little excerpt right quick of religion would never evolve to the next level. That's just the point you just said.
Right.
If you don't start thinking for themselves as God made you, right? So if nobody told Brandon or Vincent what to think, how would Brandon and Vincent think?
Right. You got it already in your mind. Like you said, you got your own brain. God already created. That's why a child, all you got to do is look at a child before they even read or anything. They already got questions. Some of them questions, they come up with on their own. Like my daughter, she asked me something. I forgot exactly what she asked me, but she asked me a question one time. And it's something that she put together on her own. I didn't really guide her or anything. She came to the conclusion on her own, you know, about something with using her own mind. So that's why we say kids are already smart. So, you know, before you even get to formal school, nature already teach you how to love. You know, and that's what I'm talking about. Your nature teach you how to love. You already know this. You already know how to cry and all these things. You ain't got to go to school. Who put that in you? So
exactly.
It's going back to what Vincent is saying. You know, you're already created with this inside of you. It's other people that control you and program you to stick. And I want to say this before I turn it over, man. You know, when somebody tell you don't question me, you ask me too many questions and you questioning God. I heard people say that. Don't question me like you questioning God. No, I'm questioning you. And you hear a lot of religious people talk like that. You know, don't question God. Or you hear people say you shouldn't question God. That don't even make sense. Like, you know what I mean? Question God. People gonna say, why did you take my loved one or whatever? That ain't no harm in it. The harm can be when you start cursing God and all this stuff here. That's when it can get out of control. But there's nothing wrong with questioning things. You should question everything. That's what I think.
Yeah.
For real,
I think where the anger comes in, though, and gets upset because, you know, say if someone is ill, right? You know, you've been praying and you've been hoping and you've been holding on and you've been told that you just hold and believe. And then they still transition on to the other side, right? You know, you're going to feel some kind of way. You're going to feel let down. You're going to feel lied to, because I did it when someone close to me passed away. You're going to feel definitely, you know, well, guess prayers don't work. Guess it don't work. I guess it is what it is, you know, because in the mind of someone that loses someone that's close to them, right, you can't phantom how's that good? Where's the good going to come in that? Right? Where's the love come from? Because you don't feel the love. You know, you don't feel great because this has happened. So I think that's what some people sometimes have those questions. And as you say, valid in having those questions because, okay, what is the end game? Is there an end game? Or is there just life and then just death? You know, life, death, death. You know,
because like you said, I just want to make this point right quick because I know Vincent gonna jump in.
You know, he gonna get
it. Like we say, we got we got to understand this, and then it's really understanding people, bro, and that's when we'll stop judging so much, because we'll understand. Okay, I don't know where this person is coming from. You know, you don't know the experiences why they think like that, and then be merciful. But I want to say this, going back to nature again. The reason why a lot of people, not saying you're not going to be sad when you lose somebody, but if you understand nature, things die and things live.
They live.
You know what I mean? Everything is a cycle. So we are going to die. So, you know, if your perception of death is just a terrible, bad thing, then of course you're going to believe like that. But if you believe on the other hand, yeah, it's a sad thing, but I'm going to see this person again and hereafter. That's the hope, you know? And that's what most religion teaches, that if that person is good and lives a good life,
you'll see him again.
You know what I'm saying? You'll see him again. So that's the difference between somebody who don't know, or they're not looking at nature and understanding that everything's going to die, and just like everything going to live. You know what I mean? So
exactly.
I think that's the issue too.
Mr. Booker.
I would like to say with all of it, with what Brandon said too, man. It's like all religions pretty much teach the same thing. Like they really do, and it's very basic and it's very simple. Man kind of complicates things. We have a way of complicating things, because I think the example in every religion that's been given as scripture is that it's to follow the example of the prophet. In all religions, if you follow the example of the prophet, man will be on mark. It will be on mark then. Because if you study the life of all the prophets, you see all of them live basically the same life.
Yep.
The same lifestyle. In our religion, it teaches us Abraham is the father of monotheism, right? Abraham, and it's also taught that Abraham wasn't a Christian nor a Jew. So what was he practicing? You see what I mean?
Yep.
So some of these things is right there in front of us, but we allow other people to put different ideologies in our heads and accept it. And just like Brandon said, sometimes you don't have to go to these books. These books are just roadmaps to get us back on the right path, because we are already upright in nature. And it's like I say, this is a very deep conversation. And again, it's not to ruffle anybody, fellas, or to step on anybody's toes or disrespect them. But I would just say to anybody, you know, that's feeling like they're having difficulty in understanding, when you're told not to lean to your understanding, study the life of all the prophets. Right. Study the life of all of them. And if you follow any one of them, you on mark. You on mark at that point. Because all of them live the same lifestyle. All of them did. All of them profess to one God. And if we all believe in that higher power, we have to believe in what they taught. It's for the people that he sent. And I think if mankind or society would just start acknowledging that, I think it'll be a better place. But it goes back to what you said, Shelton. They divide us for a reason.
Yes.
And most of it is because people don't want to read. They don't want to read. You know, they just go with the majority. Go with the majority.
It's easier that way.
You know, for real. I want to say this right before I turn it over, because I know all of us can go off on this, though. But it just made me think about something, man. Like during the time of slavery, you had actually, man, there was abolitionists, which was like Jehovah's Witness people, you know?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And during the time of slavery, bro, like it's crazy, because during the time of slavery, they used to teach them slaves that if they seen them people right there coming to run, and their life depended on it. Bro, I was a teenager. I promise I was a teenager, right? And I remember when the people were coming to the neighborhood, bro, we used to run in the house and lock the doors.
Run from.
And nobody ever told us why we were running. What? I'm so afraid of. Nobody just running, bro. Because generation after generation after generation, they was teaching our ancestors that if you see these people right here coming, you run, that they're going to eat you up and throw you in the fire. And you got people right today in 2017 that still do the same thing, bro. And they never stop to talk to them, despite what they believe.
Right.
what could his words actually hurt a man that's telling up old faith?
Because
can't hurt anything.
Because you're going to take me out of my comfort zone. You're going to take me from where I'm familiar with. So I'm not going to even give you the opportunity to say what you have to say because it goes against everything that I believe. And so if I take in what you're saying, then I'm going to have to challenge some information that I currently have. And maybe me challenging some of this information may question some of my decisions. And then that sets fear into me because maybe I'm not right, you know. So we don't have the conversation. I'll ignore you. We'll argue. And we'll never really have a serious discussion, you know, based upon what you think or based upon what I think. Because honestly, at the end of the day, it's all opinion. It's all opinion. It's all opinion, man.
I'm gonna say like Vincent was saying earlier. You know, the universal truth never changes.
No, sir.
It never changes. But the other things, as far as us as human beings, we just have perceptions of the truth. And what's true to you today may not be true to you tomorrow because
based
you're
upon your situation
and your understanding. But I want to say, I was invited a couple of weeks ago, bro, and I've seen this up close and personal. One of my good friends who's an activist, he's a preacher. He's a reverend in Houston, and he invited me to a meeting where they have interfaith people that's going to a church, Muslims, Christians, and Jews, and they'll fight for social justice, and they're trying to build community schools. So at the meeting now, I'm watching this. Now, all of them believe in one God, but none of them use their religion as a tool to bash. They was all there for the same purpose. So they put some of their other differences to the side, and they're building for humankind. And I'm watching this, and this is exactly what we're talking about. So when I'm sitting down, I'm seeing a form of heaven right there. That's how God really wants us to be. And nobody had any errors about themselves. Nobody wasn't arrogant. Nobody wasn't talking about my religion is better. So with that right there, it's setting an example of what we know can happen. You know what I mean? But it's people that are indoctrinated. But let's go back to what you said, Shelton. Okay, if we start doing that, I'm just saying religious people, then I'm scared I'm going to lose some of my following in my church. I'm scared I'm going to lose some of my members of my mosque. You know, I'm scared I'm going to lose some of my rabbis and stuff.
Fear.
That's what happened. That fear. You're hitting on it, bro.
Fear, man. It's control.
Bro.
That's why you have the division that you have right now. Fear on top of fear. And so we walking around scared of this spiritual boogeyman. We won't live life. We won't do a doggone thing because we've been taught for years, just don't do this, don't do that, don't do this. Why you think so many young people ran from being Baptists and stuff like that when they were younger? Because it was just a bunch of series of do's and don'ts and don't have fun. And the people you saw going to church came back home still miserable when they went to church that morning. I'm sorry, I don't want none of that. What are you doing? You know, and so you end up, you know, just following a routine rather than having a relationship. It's a difference. It's a difference. Because if you have the relationship, then guess what? Their relationship, what you just described in that church, caused them to do what they wanted to do. How they were able to get stuff accomplished for the greater good, for humanity. That's how it's supposed to be. But again, if everybody thought that way, then you really wouldn't need all these churches. You really wouldn't need people telling you how you need to do, how you need to live. So division is good for business, my man. Division is great for business because it keeps on Sunday, right? We got all these people that go to their different places to go worship, right? Business. Calm and good. Talking about God. Talking about being good. Talking about being great to your fellow man. Talking about contributing something to society. You put whatever label on top of it, whatever title, that you say, that's exactly what they're all talking about. But we got to go to all these different places to get that message.
But I think that you know, it's nothing wrong with it because you know you want to socialize, and you know that's kind of what it is to reinforce, and it's a good thing to do that.
I'm not down in
the point where it's going to the extreme where you feel like I got to go to church, and that's the only time I'm gonna feel like I'm Christian, or I'm going. I gotta go to the mosque, and that's the only time I feel like I'm Muslim, or I gotta go to a synagogue. That's the only time I feel like I'm Jewish. That's the problem, not going there. Actually, you know, and because you want to see people that you have the same faith.